How do you differentiate between flatworms? Let's figure it out on this episode of Taxonomy Tuesday. Platyhelminthes are one of the simplest groups of animals with a true front, back, and bilateral symmetry. Despite their simple appearance, flatworms mark a true turning point in evolution. They were among the first animals to organize their bodies along a clear head-to-tail axis, paving the way for more complex creatures to come, like you and me. The phylum Platyhelminthes is divided into two main groups, Catenulida and Rhabditophora. Catenulids are small, mostly freshwater species. Simple and free-living, they branch off early and keep the ancestral minimal design. The rest, nearly all other flatworms, belong to Rhabditophora. This group is where things get diverse, and where the line between free-living and parasitic begins to blur. Within Rhabditophorans we find several major clades. Macrostomorpha, tiny transparent worms that resemble what the earliest flatworms might have looked like. Polycladida, these are your brilliantly colored marine flatworms. Tricladida, the classic planarians, freshwater worms famous for their regeneration abilities. Rhabdosula, small worms with simple tube-like guts that live amongst sand grains. And finally, the Neodermata, the fully parasitic flatworms. This is what we're gonna focus on. In this, you have a couple of groups. You have the monogeneans, which live on fish gills and skin. You have the trematodes. Those are the flukes that infect multiple hosts during their life cycle. That's how they prefer to reproduce. And then you have the cestodes, the tapeworms, that have completely lost their digestive system and absorb food directly through their skin. All three share a unique protective outer layer called the neodermis. A syncytal, I think you say it like that, no clue. A syncytal skin that defines the entire parasitic clade. Syncytal, again, no idea how to say it. Refers to a biological structure where multiple cells fuse together into a single multinucleate mass, meaning it contains more than one nucleus. Now let's talk about their body plan. Flatworms are trypoblastic. They have three embryonic layers: ectoderm, mesoderm, and endoderm, just like us. But unlike us, they're acoelomate. There's no body cavity. Their organs are embedded in a solid tissue called parenchyma. They're also bilaterally symmetrical, meaning they have a head and a tail, left and right sides, which is a huge evolutionary innovation. The head usually carries ocelli, which are simple eye spots that detect light. And they have auricles, small lobes with sensory cells for navigation. They can use it to detect chemicals, flow of water, all of those things. They lack a circulatory and respiratory systems. Gases just diffuse through the skin, which is why being flat is so important. It gives them more surface area for their volume. Their digestive system has only one opening, so food goes in and waste comes out of the same hole, which is their mouth, but also their butthole at the same time. Their nervous system is ladder-like. Two main nerve cords connected by crossbars with a cluster of neurons in the head functioning as a primitive brain. And their excretory system uses protonephridia, also known as flame cells, to filter waste, one of the earliest kidney-like systems in evolution. Now that we're talking about evolution, let's talk about their evolution and adaptation. Genomic studies I will link to in my blog post show that flatworms are a monophyletic group. They all share a single common ancestor. The earliest flatworms were likely free-living marine scavengers, similar to the modern macrostomids. From that ancestor, two main lifestyles emerged. Free-living lineages, like the polyclads and the planarians, which developed sensory organs and regenerative abilities. You also have parasitic lineages, the Neodermata, which lost complexity in exchange for specialization. The parasites simplified their bodies, but evolved reproductive systems that produced thousands of eggs, and surfaces adapted to survive inside hosts. Evolution didn't make them less evolved. It is just more efficient, which is what most parasites do. Now that we talked a bit about flatworms, why do they matter? What is their use to us? Flatworms shaped how we understand animal evolution. Their bilateral symmetry marks a fundamental step towards the body plan of almost every animal you can name. Planarians, for example, continue to fascinate scientists with their regenerative powers. They can regrow a complete body from a tiny fragment, thanks to specialized stem cells called neoblasts. And the parasitic groups? They're still amongst the most successful animals alive, thriving in every major vertebra on Earth, including us. Which is why you have to cook your meat before you eat it, and don't eat raw vegetables just from outside, without washing them, of course. So next time you hear flatworm, you already know what they're talking about. And you have to remember that some of them are among the most successful life forms on Earth. Not necessarily only by conquering the outside world, but by mastering the inside. This has been Taxonomy Tuesday. I'm Belgian Bugs, and today we explored the phylum platyhelminthes. Put in the comments what other phylum you want me to explore, or look at the linked video to learn more about the general phyla in the animal kingdom.